Good evening. I'm going to make a really quick video about Flickr groups and how you can use them to recruit for ships and stations. This video is mainly for a roleplay group that I am in called United Federation Starfleet. I will link up to that in the footer of this description of this video so that you can check out the group if you wish. You can use these tips and tricks for your own groups as a blogger or a blogger manager or a store manager too. So you pretty much anybody can utilize what I'm going to teach here. This is mainly how to moderate and run your own group, and its purpose is to help you recruit for your ship and station and show activity for your ship to share with the world. It's quite late. Our internet was out, so I am starting to wear down, so if I start to fade on you, you'll know why. We're gonna just jump into it. If you go to the U feature, also, I'm assuming that you have watched the first video in this series about the general way that the Flickr works. So we're going to skip all of that and we will go straight to the groups page. I am not going to show you how to work with the groups on that page. I will show you how to work with creating your own group. So if you go to the group page from your start, okay, you will see that the top part you have your administrator, what groups you're administrating, and your moderator for or you own. So as you can see, I own SL Grand Adventures Blogging Sharing Group. I created this group several years ago after I closed my store, and what I did was I flipped it from just sharing my group of my store ads to allowing bloggers to join this for another way that they could promote their products that they're working with in their pictures. You all are more than welcome to add a picture to this group if you want to. However, please just make sure that it is one picture from a roleplay and not 30 pictures. I allow you to upload 4 on this group, so just be judicial with it and link to an album or something in the description of your picture. I don't really want this group to be flooded with sci-fi pictures, so keep that in mind, please, if you decide to join this group, my group, as this is mainly for bloggers and vloggers in Second Life. So with that said, here is the anatomy of what a group looks like on Flickr. You have your profile picture, which is my lovely sister Lola right here, because you know I'm a little biased for her. And then you have your cover. Your group name is at the top, and then under that it shows that this group has 126 members. We have 8.7 thousand photos, and there's 12 discussions. It also shows you when the group was created, because I still had my store in 2016 and I didn't close it for several years, so it was like I think 2018 that I finally closed my store after several years of not making sales. So there's that. Then underneath here you have your menu options. You have the administration area. You can see all of your discussions. You can see the photo pool. You can see all of your members. Okay, it does separate it, so you have your admins, and then you have your moderators, and then you have your members, which for me, I set my members to be SL Explorers. So if you join the group, you're an SL Explorer. You can see who has tagged on the map. I don't mess with that because most of what I work with is Second Life in virtual world, so I don't have to worry about that. You can also invite your friends. So if you start a group, you can invite your crew to join that group so that they can keep up to date and they can see it. if we go back to the front, to the overviews, if you scroll down, you have your admin blurb, which is welcome to your grand adventure. Have a wonderful day, LA. That's me. You can set new blurb. You can either delete this and add a new one, or you can edit it and add a new one. Anybody that's not an admin won't see the box, just you. Then under that is your pool, your photo pool samples, which you can add several rows. You can say add 8 rows, you can go up to 8 rows. I always have it set on 1 because it just takes up less space. Then under that is your discussions. So you can see at a glance your discussions, and you can click on any of them and you can see the replies and so on. Under that is your top contributors, and these are the people who have submitted either photos or topics to your group. So like you can see that the top person here has 569 photos in my group, which is really cool. You can also view all members by clicking that, and it'll send you to the member page, okay? Going back down, you can go down here, scrolling down a little more, you see the group description, which is just a very short blurb that you create about your group. My suggestion for your ships and stations is only a couple of sentences. I would say no more than 4 sentences, because you don't need to put a big long passage. You can create a sticky discussion post and post about your stations that way, and people will be able to read it if you do the settings properly. And then you have your group rules. Group rules are very important. You need to make sure that you add the rules, so like because you're a UFS ship or station, then you most likely don't want bloggers to come in and dump their pictures in your group. You want that specifically for your crew, so you need to make that known. You need to make sure that you say no nudity or pornography. You need to set the settings safe so that any nude or restricted pictures can't be uploaded. Sometimes bloggers get a little bit carried away, and they will just start adding to whatever group they belong to. So you have to kind of make it clear in the rules. So if somebody consistently submits a picture for a review and they have nudity in it, or they're not even in the group, and they're not, so obviously they haven't read the rule, then you can either ban them from the group, or you can eject them with a note or something. I have no real life pictures on mine because this is Second Life group. However, if you are a real world station or ship, you might want to allow that stuff. So you might want to allow people to upload pictures from wherever they are around the world, and they can tag it or put it in the group. Hey, I'm a crew of this ship, okay? So then underneath the group rules is your additional info. As you can see, I don't care how many other groups a photo is in. It doesn't bother me any. People can add as many photos as they want to whatever groups they want. That's their choice, more than their right. I allow up to 4 things added to the pool each day, which is videos and screenshots. A note about the pictures: if you are a real world group or station or ship or whatever, you can have like photos and you can have the other stuff. But if you're in a virtual world, Flickr requires that you set your photos to screenshots, because they don't consider virtual world photography as in taking an actual photo with a camera. They define photos as being taken with the camera. So keep that in mind, and set your settings appropriately. And I will show you how to do that with our test group in a minute. And then safety levels in my group is safe. I don't want sex pictures in my group. I don't want, nudity. I'm fine with some nudity, but keep it clean, that kind of thing. So I set it to safe. I might add moderate, but a lot of times SL bloggers will sometimes go a little overboard. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, that's just what they do, but that's not what I want in my group. So Let's go back to our groups page. So to create a group, you need to click on create a group, obviously, which gives you this box. It's a lovely little box and it says create a new group. You take a look at their group guidelines if you want. There is a lot of information on that page and it will guide you through a lot of what you can do as an admin of your group, you know, how to remove people, just advice on when to remove people, so on. And then there's the group help pages, which will be very useful for you over time. This allows you to look up at a glance different things like how to add and remove photos from groups, how to moderate a group, how to approve groups, photos that are in a queue, things like that. I'm not going to go through that because we only have one person in this group right now, so which is me, and I don't have anybody that I can set to upload a picture to be approved in a queue. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll get a notice that you have pictures that are in a queue, and then you go to your queue and you start saying approve or not approving. So with that said, you have two options. You can do an invite only group, which would mean that you invite only the people that you want to be in your group. No one else will be able to see your stuff. They'll be able to find, I believe they'll find your group, but they won't be able to see anything. And so it kind of defeats the purpose of networking outside of UFS for members on your ship. Or you can do a public group, which I suggest doing a public group because if you are doing this, you're obviously networking and you're wanting to add members to your ship or station, and you kind of just, you know, you want to get more exposure, and that is one way to do it. It doesn't matter if it's a public group because you can set your submission guidelines to be approval only. So that way you'll be able to approve only pictures that come from your ship or from the fleet. Hit next and it will take you to the next page, which is where you give yourself, your group, a name, and you give your group a short little theme or purpose. This is actually the description. Be very, very limited on it. Like I said, 4 sentences is my suggestion, no more than that. You can also do a link to like your ship page on the wiki or a link to the UFS main website. Do both because you're not just advertising for yourself, you're advertising for the whole fleet. So let's give this a name. We're gonna do testing group 5000 because the day has been a long day. And then your purpose or theme is testing. I'm not going to add a whole lot of stuff here, and testing.com. Okay, so hit next. This is where you decide your safety level. I do not see our group putting 18 plus pictures on the forum or on this forum or platform. I know, and when they talk about this is adult only, meaning sexual pictures, intimate pictures, things that show body parts, things that show any kind of violence, stuff like that. I really don't see you guys doing that. So my suggestion is this group is good for all ages, and that keeps it so that pictures that are marked safe will be able to be uploaded to your group. If you do, this group is 18 plus, then they have to restrict their pictures to upload. And then you disappoint everybody because it doesn't show no skin. I'm just kidding, but that's true. Just saying. So hit create group. And it will go to your group page, but I want to show you what shows up in the list. As you can see here, I have a new group showing in my list of groups I admin. It has 1 member, 0 photos, latest photos, topics, 0, latest photos, none. So if you click on the title and it'll take you back in here. There are several things here on the first page that you can work with. However, I suggest actually going immediately into the administration panel and doing your settings first before you do anything else. First thing that you want to do is decide on your rules. So you click on the rules, group rules, and then it asks you if you want to enable group rules. Say yes. And the reason is, like I said before, you actually need to add rules to your group. You can't just let anybody, if you don't add rules, then anybody will start posting, and then if you come down on them, it'll be hard to stop them from doing it. So if you do rule 1, 2, I'm just shitballing here, rule 3, and then save as. And then when you go back to your overview, and you scroll down, you now have the group rules, and it will list all of your rules here, like you saw on my group page. Okay. Then the part that you want to set your moderation settings is under moderation settings, of course. These are important. First, set your submissions to either show up in the pool immediately, which means that if you don't really care, they can add whatever they want. You don't care. You don't want to have to come back and moderate and see what people are posting. Then you can select no, submissions will show up in the pool immediately. Or select yes for submissions to go to a queue, which is what I'm suggesting for you guys, because that way you make sure that it's from UFS, it's from your ship, it's from a fleet or an event that you were at, or whatever, it's from a group member. So I would say submissions will go into a queue, and then you review them before posting. The next step is setting how many pictures you want to allow people to post. This is completely personal. It is all up to you. You can post, you can say no, they can post as many items as they would like. You can say yes, but then you might want to set a limit for how many. I do 4 for my limit, and I do per day, because that way 4 per day, whatever. If you go on a vacation, you can disable posting altogether, where they can't add anything to the pool, but I really don't mess with that. I just let them go and do what they want, because it's just a blogging group for me. But for you guys, if you're going to be doing queues and submissions and stuff, if you're going away for a couple of weeks, you might come back to 100 pictures that you have to approve. So I would just either turn off posting or assign an admin to moderate. This next part is very important. When SmugMug took over, it was like just before they took over, Flickr had made a change on their group posting limits. Before, they had unlimited posting. You could post in any group as many times as you want, in as many groups as you want. After they did this change, they made it so that premium members or pro members could post up to 60 groups. Non-pro users could post to a maximum of 30 groups. Well, that threw a shitstorm. People didn't like it. They wanted their posting. It's like, one of the things that designers require you to do is to post in as many groups as you want, because what was the point of doing the picture? You're supposed to provide exposure for their product. So that caused a lot of problems when people couldn't post to anything more than 60 groups. Views went down, things happened. So then Flickr came up with a solution where groups could opt out. You could opt out of whether or not you really cared if members post it to so many groups. So you could say, I would actually change this, because There are a lot of groups out there that you can add a picture to from your ship or station that are roleplay related, and general groups that people just kind of, they might see the group that your crew has posted, and then they might say, oh, I want to go check this out, or they might see the tag in their photos and go check it out. So I would change this to yes, that this group doesn't care how many other groups a photo is in. Frankly, it's none of our business. And the other thing, this part coming down here, if you're a real world shipper station, you really don't have to worry about it, because if you take pictures with a camera and you post them to your group, you're just fine. You can have it set as a photograph. If you are in a virtual world, you do have to worry about it. They will shut your account down if you post as a photo versus a screenshot. So therefore, it's your responsibility as a group owner to make sure that you apply the right settings for this. If you do, say, like uncheck screenshots, then people who are in Second Life or Third Rock Grid won't be able to post their pictures to your group without violating TOS. So just keep that in mind. I would uncheck photos and videos. I would set this to videos. So therefore you have, it'll say at the end, or after we hit OK on the overview, it will say that you allow videos and you allow screencasts. And honestly, I unchecked illustration and art, animation, CGI, and this is for settings for Second Life and Third Rock Grid, by the way. If you are the real world group, then check photos and videos and mark all of these. The next step is the safety level. So this is vital. This is very important. You don't want to have it flag your group for as restricted over the age of 18. The reason why is that means that you will get a lot of pictures that have sex in them from other bloggers who find your group. You want to set your group to safe, which means that it will show up in search more often and more at the top. Okay, you might want to check like moderate, but that's moderate is usually for people who add pictures that have a little bit of nudity in them but don't show the parts. Restricted is usually for pictures that have a lot of nudity in them. Okay, basically we're a fan group, we are not a sex group. So I would say just mark this safe so that only pictures that are marked as safe will be able to be uploaded. The geo information, this is where you are tagging your pictures upon upload with your location information. I don't suggest doing that because then people can see where you live or what you're doing, you know, with the geotagging. So I would say it doesn't matter. I would leave it up to the member to decide how much information that they want to give to you and to the rest of the world online. So just keep that in mind. The other thing is, would you like to lock all group discussions? This means that you have two options. You can say no, they can discuss things freely, your members, or you can say yes, lock, which means that no new topics will be able to be created, but any existing topics can be seen. So, you know, the yes lock will stop your members from being able to chat with you, or potential members from starting a discussion to ask you questions about UFS or about your ship. So keep that in mind. My suggestion is to keep it members can discuss things freely. As an admin, you can delete any post that shows up on your Flickr, your group. So just keep that in mind. So save this and it will take you back to your administration. So let's go take a look at the overview tab now. So, and if you scroll down, as you can see, all of the settings that we did is right here under additional information. If in the future you decide that you want to edit this information, you have the option to just select edit as an admin, okay? We're going to go back to administration. There's a few more settings that you might like to play with, and then I'm going to close this out because it's quite late. Privacy is important. This is where you decide whether or not you make the group private, which I do not suggest doing because you cannot undo it. You will have to start all over. You make the group, you can switch it from public group to invite only group. Depends on what your goal is and what you want to do. You as the captain, it's your choices, but as I said before, you can limit the submissions for queue review, and that way you can keep your group public and you might pull in more members. It depends on how popular your group gets. And then, so this is where you can say what non-members can see. First off, you don't need to hide the group discussion, because if anything that cannot be discussed in public on the Flickr group, it should be posted on the forums anyway. So basically what you want to do is make the discussion open so that people can come in and they can read about your station and ship. They can read about UFS. They can read about any posts that you guys post on your group and discussions that are going on. And then they can decide, oh, I'm going to join this. I want to know more. And then you might pull somebody in. Being open and friendly is better than hiding it. And the other thing is always show your group pool. Unless you have something to hide, show your group pool. That way, people who are just visiting and they're looking around, the whole point is to show activity and show the potential new members that, hey, look at what we do. We role play, we have fun, and so on. So I'm just gonna leave these settings the way they are and save changes, and it'll go back to the page. You can, when you first start your group, you can't do it after. So once you do this next step, that is it. So if you make sure, you have to make sure that you use the right name, the right spelling, everything that you want in your group URL, because this can only be done one time. So if you click on in this little box, you can set an alias for your group. This group can only contain numbers, letters, you know, underscore, so on. I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to show you. So just select test 2001 and then preview. And then, oh, well, it's already done that. UFS test, let's see. So preview. And this is what it'll look like afterwards. This is where you can lock it in. Be sure that what you have written here is spelled the way that you want it to be spelled. Otherwise, you can't go back and redo it. You'd have to start the group all over again. We'll go back to administration. The next step is your name and URL. For whatever reason, this external website address part does not work properly. So whatever addresses that you want to put in, do it in the description. Make sure that you make the description only about four sentences long. I would add the URLs for the main website and for your ship page, or for whatever blog that you have going on for your ship. That way people can go and read up about you, and they might join the group. So let them know that you're part of a bigger fleet, because not everybody can roleplay at your times, so keep that in mind. But they might want to join the group anyway, and that just kind of brings more friends into the fold. So this is your about the group, and it will show up in the overview that is viewable by everyone when they try to join. Keywords are very important. These will allow people to search for specific keywords. Like if somebody wants to see all pictures done by PD Thor station so they can search for PD Thor, and that will bring up all pictures that are in the group that is for SSPD Thor, if PD Thor decides to have their own group. So it will bring up members or people who have posted pictures that, you know, from people and then from groups and so on. It will also show up the group. If it won't just show up pictures, if it'll pull up SSPD Thor. I'm wearing out, sorry. So choose your keywords properly. You have up to 10 keywords that you can do. So do your ship name, do United Federation, Starfleet, and do UFS. And the reason I did those separately is because if someone decides that they want to search for United Federation Starfleet, they can search for that, or they can search for UFS and it will pull up either or. So then you can add stuff like roleplay, or you can add stuff like friendship or fandom or Star Trek, that kind of thing, in your up to 10 keywords. And if you save these, and then if you were to go search for SSPD Thor, so I'm going to do that, SSPD Thor, and under groups, of course, make a liar of me. It should have tagged it and pulled it up, probably because I don't have any pictures in there yet. Okay, so if you go over here, that 18 plus is kind of self-explanatory. If you don't know what that is, then you can go look it up. Click on it. Membership, you can manage your members under this. If you go manage your members, it pulls up a section here with your admins, moderators, members, and invited and banned lists. First suggestion is for the captain to make an admin out of the XO. Okay. Second suggestion is on moderators. You make, say, like the heads of your offices or departments or the chief of operations in your ship a moderator. This way, if neither the captain or the XO is available, then the moderators are available. And then under members, you'll see a list of your members, and then under invited, you'll see a list of people you've invited. Let's go back to administration. I will take you over to my group members on my Flickr group so I can show you how it looks behind the scenes with actual members. Member roles is really cool. You can actually change the name of the person, of the roles. They have to be like singular, so you can't do admins or moderators. You have to do admin, moderator, or member. Or you can change it to a head tribble, and moderators could be your butterflies or butterfly, and your members can be, for me, I did SL Explorers, so you could do something really fun with that. So then when you save it, those are the names of the roles. And so when we go under administrators, see, it says head tribbles, or members, sorry. It says head tribbles. I will be doing more videos in the near future to help with this. Right now it's quite late. It's almost 12:30 in the morning and my internet was out for hours, so I'm falling behind on this. If you need help setting up your own group and you want help with learning how to do the different things in the group, then just let me know and we can set up a time to get together and I will help you, walk you through it one-on-one over voice. That's for the UFS members. My fellow bloggers, if you need help, I will help you too. So just let me know and I will help you. But for now, I'm gonna close this out and process this video and upload it, and I will see you later. Good night.